What's up, D supporters? It is Gabe back with another video, and before I jump into it, you gotta cop the merch, GabeCurtis.store. Today I thought I would give all of you an inside scoop into my monetization journey here on YouTube. So how much did I have to invest in order to earn? I made 3 movies, my own trilogy that added on to the original Back to the Future. My first movie, Back to the Future 4, was the lowest budget product that I do have on the channel, and that's why it's such low quality. I edited on my phone. I filmed with a tripod that I had for like 7 years. That was literally breaking more and more each scene I filmed. The only thing I invested during that movie was building a time machine, and that was fairly cheap. So I only spent just over $120 making Back to the Future 4. Jumping into Back to the Future 5, that's actually when I started investing to make a better quality product. I bought some microphones so the audio quality would be better. I bought a gimbal so it would actually be stabilized rather than just holding the phone. We even got some black powder to ignite those explosions during the time travel scenes, rather than doing it all in post, since I didn't have much experience with realistic special effects. Along with all the various props and materials you did see during the movie, that brings the total up to just over $1,000 invested in Back to the Future 5. For Back to the Future 6, we bought even higher quality mics, gimbals, tripods, GoPros, and black powder. We even bought some realistic 9mm pistol replicas that actually do shoot BBs. With a surplus of Yoo-Hoo and all the other iconic props that you saw on Back to the Future 6, the total came to nearly $1,300. That brings the subtotal to just a little over $2,400 for the entire trilogy is what we invested in. Then I was blessed enough to get monetized on YouTube in March of 2020. I've only made a little bit over $100 since then. That is actually the minimum payment threshold on YouTube. I just hit that accomplishment this past week, meaning my first YouTube paycheck is actually getting processed into my bank account as I speak. If it wasn't for all of you watching, I would not be able to get paid from YouTube, so I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me this much. I'm just so blessed to be able to do this. Some of you may not think $100 is a big deal, but for me it is, just because I didn't think it would be possible to make money on a hobby. So this accomplishment is very important to me. Jumping into what I could have earned if I was more responsible at the time. When I produced Back to the Future 4, I had no idea that I was gonna blow up and help my channel reach 1 million views. So at the time I didn't put an effort into that project because I didn't think anybody would see it. So I ended up taking music from the original Back to the Future and put it right into Back to the Future 4. So it was demonetized as it was filled with copyrighted music. I didn't think too much about it because I only had 150 subscribers at the time and I had no idea my channel was gonna get monetized. Sure, I have 1 million views on this channel, but as I'm recording this, only about 85,000 out of that 1 million is monetized views. Meaning if Back to the Future 4 was monetized from the start to begin making money in March 2020 as ads started to appear across my channel, I could have made a few $1,000s depending on my CPM. CPM is how much money you make per 1,000 views and how much advertisers pay to get their ads into your video. Based on my current CPM, which is lower right now than it usually is, I would have made maybe around $1,000 on Back to the Future 4, give or take. Although my CPM really skyrocketed last spring into summer and yet again when Back to the Future 6 dropped in December. So if you factor that in, it could have maybe made as much as $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Although it's hard to keep track because CPM fluctuates on the time of year, on the type of video, and I can really only look at the CPM rates for my other videos, not Back to the Future 4, because that was the one thing that wasn't getting monetized. Although, here's something that I'm very blessed to share. I was able to start monetizing Back to the Future 4. When I first started getting monetized, I tried to use YouTube's editor to dub out the copyrighted music and replace it with the royalty-free music. Although it worked for a few days, it eventually just resetted and made it impossible for it to be monetized permanently other than the few dollars I made within that several day period. But fast forward about a year later, YouTube redesigns its creator studio and updates the editor for it to be more easy to use and less glitches. But it didn't really hit me until about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, let's try this again. And you know what? It worked. If you were to watch Back to the Future 4 again, for most of you, I wouldn't recommend unless you want to have a cringe fest. But if you do, you'll notice new music, which honestly kind of brings a little bit more pep to the movie. And one part of the movie that was demonetized was actually music going through my monologue when I was trying to find the time pack about 40 minutes into the movie. So you just see me doing while music is playing, but honestly that's better because we minimize the audio of me talking to myself non-stop, at least in that scene. Into the power of the views that are somehow still increasing on Back to the Future 4 as I speak, I'm able to get paid a lot more frequently here on YouTube. Rather than me waiting 2 years for one paycheck, based on my current CPM and the growth of my channel at the moment, on average, get a paycheck maybe 3 times a year. Although I expect my CPM to increase later this year along with the growth of my channel going to the future. So those paychecks will just continue to increase. Thank you for all the support across my channel. I will be back next Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific for a brand new banger. If you like this video, be sure to drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.